Bobcat Nation, Hal Weston here once again for another Bobcat Coach's Corner. Got Terry Sellers with us. We're going to talk some basketball. What do you say, Coach?
Sounds good.
All right. Good run for you right now. You got 4 wins in a row. How's morale for the team and everything? Everybody feeling pretty good?
Well, I think they're feeling okay, and we've just been really pushing them hard in practice and trying to make sure they understand that we are a long way from being the kind of team that we need to be going into conference play, and we got to continue to work hard. And sometimes when you win games, players, I think they have a tendency to think that you've already arrived, and so we've had to continue to push to try to try to get that improvement that we need going into what I think is going to be the toughest the league has been since I've been in the league, which has been 19 years.
All right, well, looking at those 4 games, you got the win over Belmont Abbey, then Anderson, victories over Bruton Parker and Carver Bible as well. Out of that bunch, I got to really kind of point my finger at that Anderson victory as kind of being the most important of that stretch. That was a team that beat a Queens team that beat you earlier in this year. I mean, that was also a tight contest, and it seemed like your guys really rose to the challenge on that one. Would you feel the same? I
feel the same way. That was certainly, I think, a really good win for us. We made our free throws down the stretch. Aaron, I think, made 4 in a row right at the end. That was huge for us to come through and beat a good team. And, of course, I think Belmont Abbey, that game was significant also in the fact that this group of guys that we have got down, I believe it was 17 points in the second half, and they were able to come back and win that game. That was a huge win for us, just being able to make that comeback. And then the Anderson game was also a very good win.
Yeah, and then 2 more victories, so that gets you 4 in a row. A guy, again, we mention him just about every time we're doing this thing, but Ryan Aquino now up to 6 double-doubles in a row, and that's got to be a source of pride for him. And is that an area when you're coming into the preseason, you know that you lost some rebounding from last year, you're going to point at this guy and say, hey, you got to get it done on the glass for us?
No doubt about it, and we've always known that Ryan is capable of doing and putting up those kind of double-doubles, and I expect him to be able to continue to do that throughout the entire conference season. He's very capable of doing just what he's been doing. We just need him to continue doing what he's been doing, which is going to be more challenging because teams are really going to zero in on Ryan and Jared. So we need some other guys to kind of step up their rebounding and contribute even more offensively.
To his credit, I talked with Ryan Aquino last week. He's won the Athlete of the Week 3 weeks in a row for Georgia College now. And he mentioned that the rebounds aren't what he's most proud of. He more or less looks at that assist-to-turnover ratio. And as a big man, that's not normally what you think of from a kid his size. But he looks at those numbers there to see what kind of quality game that he's had. Is that something that you've instilled in him as well?
Well, I hope so. That's kind of, I think that through Ryan being here for 4 years, he probably understands that's probably the area that probably gets me the most upset is when we don't take care of the ball and we give possessions away. And so I hope that, certainly it sounds like he's taking pride in that area of his game. And Ryan is one of the most versatile players we've had. I said earlier in the year, Aaron Clark had a game where he had a triple-double. Ryan is the first player we've had in a long time that's capable of doing that at some point this season because he is a good passer and he's capable on a given night of putting up 10 assists.
Sure. Okay. Well, you mentioned briefly Jared Holmes. Let's talk a little bit more about him. It's 4 games in a row with 20-plus points, and he's going to be a guy that it seems you can count on to shoulder a lot of that scoring load.
Jared has been very consistent, and he just comes to play every practice, every game, and he's really a good mid-range shooter, and he's plays with a lot of confidence and. Teams going to have to work hard to limit him because he keeps coming at them, the entire game. And I thought the Belmont game he really came back and had a great second half. Of course, he had a great first half in our last game. I think he had 18 at halftime, and he just keeps working. He works really hard for everything he gets, and he's a good offensive player, and he's done gotten his senior year off to a really good start.
Well, the two seniors really carrying a lot of this load with the double-doubles from Aquino and 20-plus points from Holmes. As you mentioned earlier in the show here, teams are going to start keying in on those two fellas, and that's going to cause some other guys to need to step up for us. Who do you think might take those sorts of roles for us?
Well, I think that we've had some already. I think Mike Augustine has had some good moments and had some good games. I think he's been in double figures 2 or 3 times this season. And there's been some games that he's gotten us off to a pretty good start, made that first or second basket to get us going. So I think Mike is one of those guys that we expect to do a good job. I think J.P. Davis has had some outstanding spurts of minutes where he's actually, made those mid-range shots, led the team well, taking care of the ball. Aaron Robinson's a spark off the bench, and he's been doing a good job for us. And I think guys like, Joey Bell, Jordan Grant, Scott Ferguson. Of course, if we can get Terrence Chapman back, I think he will be very important to our team as far as on both ends of the court. And we're hopeful that he will be back after the holidays. It's probably doubtful that he will be able to return before then, but we need him. He'll be an important part of our team. But I think, we just need other guys like Mike and Scott Ferguson, and Quinn Bivens has had some good moments. The Belmont Abbey game, I think he had 18 or 20 in the second half in that game. Quinn, we just need to be more consistent and be more balanced, and I think we can be and we'll need to be as we go into conference play.
I walked through practice, I think it was yesterday, and you would pause things to kind of talk a little bit more about working as a team, making decisions as a team, and being more communicative to help form that team balance. You got a lot of new faces this year, and of course that's going to be an important part of getting that gelling together. Now that you're 7 games into the season, how has that process gone? Is there still a lot of work left to make sure we're functioning as a full unit?
There's still a lot of work to be done. I do feel like we're making progress, and we're progressing. You'd like to progress at a faster rate, but we're getting there. I thought yesterday's practice was one of our best practices. And one thing that's interesting to me as a coach over the years, people think about playing together, think about offense. But it's so important, it's just as important, if not more important, to play together on defense. And that's what we're trying to do, to get guys to trust if my man beats me, then I've got a teammate that's in the gap that he's ready to help stop. It's 5 guys guarding the basketball. 1 guy guarding the ball, and 4 guys hipping the guy that's guarding the ball, and communicating with each other and playing together is crucial. And that's what we've really been working hard on these last few days, and we'll continue to work until we start conference play in a week.
All right, you mentioned starting conference play in a week. We head to North Georgia to get that rolling. Now, what do you know about the Saints? Have you seen anything on them? What type of team do you think they'll bring to the table?
I think they'll bring an outstanding team. They got a guy that was player of the week in the conference, averaging, I looked yesterday, I think it's 22 points a game. That's really carrying them. He was a really good player for them last year. He's going to be certainly a handful as far as defending him. They've got a really good point guard. They got a good freshman guard that comes off the bench and does really well for them. They beat the number 2 team in the country a couple weeks ago, UAH, in a really good game. They got a transfer from University of Nebraska that's 6'4", 6'5". I mean, they have an outstanding team. We will have to play our best game of the season and to have a chance to be successful, but that's the plan.
Well, check the plan next Wednesday. That's the 14th. You're going to want to head up to Dahlonega, Georgia. If you can't make the trip, we've got a bunch of different ways you can follow the Bobcats. Go to gcbobcats.com. You can find the links to the home team, the historic one, Scott McLeod and Chandler Lee giving you the broadcast there. Also, the Saints will have a video broadcast through Ustream. So pull that up and turn the volume down so you don't have to listen to their guys. Instead, you can listen to ours, and they also have live stats. So check all the links if you can't make the trip there. Good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, and for Terry Sellers, Al Weston here for the Bobcat Coach's Corner.